Guys, I I consider myself a poet because one, I love poetry. And why do I love poetry? I like to romanticize life. I think everything in life is absolutely romantic. I think life in its own self is mesmerizing, and existence in itself is a privilege. And because you are privileged to exist, there is so much beauty in the story that is being told and the stories yet to be told. And so, because you already have such a fascinating occurrence going on in your existence, you need to keep yourself in a constant state of appreciation. And your state of appreciation might differ because life is not going to always give you every single thing you want. But even the times when life does not give you the things you want, either because they aren't good enough for you, or because you aren't prepared, or because God hasn't written it that way, or maybe you're just not even good enough. Did I say that? Even in those scenarios, there is so much beauty in the story being told. And one of the things that really makes life so romantic and absolutely loving and beautiful is the existence of God. Although I still ponder on several thoughts, and some of them include how life could be the way it is, and I would think life is beautiful, but we have so many starving people and a whole lot of others going through so many difficulties. It is quite sad, but in a way, I think there is still an hidden beauty to all these things that my brain probably just cannot fathom at my current state of existence. Because what shall it be said for there to be a creator that absolutely neglects its creations? I don't know. But to be honest, I don't really know much about the creator. But if the creator is able to create an emotion like love and an emotion like appreciation, and appreciation I think is just a subset of the love emotion. So if the creator could create an emotion like love, then what? I mean, there is so much I don't know about the creator, but there is also one thing I know about the creator. The creator is a very fascinating creature. Yeah, the creator is a very fascinating creature. And yeah, this it is one of the reasons why I am highly fascinated and in love with life, and I romanticize everything because I think there is just so much that I don't understand, and so much that I understand, and so much that I could understand. And my mind ponders on so many things, but I realize that though the privilege for me to be able to feel some emotions is in itself romantic, and I hope I never feel extremely gruesome or sad emotions, because I think that might bring me into a form of reality check as to the other emotions people actually have to deal with. But in cases like that, would I also find ways to romanticize life? I wonder, because I will never come here and say things in a certain type of way and just for a fact tell you that that is how I will feel, knowing full well that I tend to also be very irrational, although I am a person that later I am a person that later tends to return to their baseline emotion and then slowly grow from their baseline emotion. Do you understand? So what I mean is I can be irrational and do things that are extremely absurd, but I tend to go back to my baseline emotion, which is my state of sanity, and then grow from my state of sanity to a much better state of my existence. I just develop. I like to grow. Maybe that is why I'm also trying to understand who God is, because for me to be able to perform such a very structured form of internalized arrangement to my own persona when I have an outburst of emotion or when I have an internal disarray within myself, for me to find a way to rearrange my own emotions and control myself and self reflect on myself and my attitude just means there is just a very supreme creature that has really mastered my design, or he has designed me in a very fascinating way. Coupled with the fact that I see people who cannot even do what I do, and there are also people that do what I do a whole lot better. As a matter of fact, there are people who are so stoic with their emotions that they are unable to lose control. But it is quite scary that we have people, or I would assume, or I would like to think that there are people out there that never lose control of their emotions. That must be a horrible life, because constantly being in an emotional equilibrium states feels very bland and monotonous. But I've been practicing control, and I realized that also being in a very stable state of emotion is also very nice. I used to be a person that loves Travis Scott and I love to rage. I love to do. But lately, I don't enjoy it because I think my ability to control my own emotion has to also do with the supernatural. So I think, or lately, I'm starting to realize that the devil operates at a lower tier of frequency. The devil's methodologies to inducing or affecting a person is quite mundane and low tier. And I'm not trying to test the devil right now, but I have God, and if I have God, who is the supreme, then a lesser being should not really matter. Although it is quite astonishing and even scary that the devil was able to turn one third of the heavens against God. Guys, one third out of three. He took one. God was left with two. That is very scary. That is like 33.3%. That is quite scary. Not a quarter, one third. Makes you think. Because if you had halved, if you had, devil took two, no, devil took, God took two. God has everything, but the devil took one out of the three. If the devil was able to halve this one, not even take all of them, just cut them into half, he probably would have overthrown God. As a matter of fact, if you had gotten probably one third of these people, it probably is strategic enough. That is very scary. And I don't think people think about that quite often. As a person that romanticizes life, what is romantic about that? Well, since God did create the devil, he probably allowed it to happen. Or maybe it wasn't properly documented. How shall I ever discover the absolute truth? I guess if you stick around enough, or rather, if you stick around long enough, you will find out if I would ever discover the absolute truth. Because I'll never stop doing this. Forever yours. Even through all the storms and through all the merries, Israel. Like and subscribe.